In section 1.1.4, we'll learn how to increase the accuracy of an angle measurement by using degrees, minutes, and seconds. This process is important when you use an angle to measure the distance between 2 points, especially points that are separated by an astronomical scale. A small error in the angle measurement can mean thousands and thousands of miles of difference in distance. So let's get started with the definition. Each degree is divided into 60 equal parts called minutes. So there are 60 minutes in 1 degree. The little apostrophe is how we represent minutes. And each minute is divided into 60 equal parts called, you guessed it, seconds. Our conversion equation here, we have 60 seconds in 1 minute. Therefore, there's 3,600 seconds in 1 degree. So if I take 1 degree and I divide it into 3,600 equal arcs, each one of those arcs would have a measure of 1 second. We could say a minute is 1/60th of a degree, and a second is 1/60th of a minute, and therefore 1/3600th of a degree. Keep in mind we're using the words degrees, minutes, and seconds to measure the amount of rotation in an angle. They are connected to the time words minutes and seconds in the same way that we measure the apparent movement of the sun across the sky using degrees. Because that takes time, it's certainly related to the minutes and seconds that it takes for the sun to move across the sky. Our focus in this section is to learn how to convert something from degrees, minutes, and seconds to decimal degrees and vice versa. Now, in this section, I am going to show you how to do this with your graphing calculator, so you'll want to have that nearby and handy when we get ready to check our answers. So in example 8, we want to convert the measurement 22 degrees, 15 minutes, and 30 seconds to decimal degrees. That is, I want to figure out what fraction or what decimal degrees are represented by 15 minutes and 30 seconds. So we're going to use a simple conversion factor or dimensional analysis to make this conversion. So we're going to start out with 15 minutes. And I want to figure out how many degrees or what fraction of a degree is represented by 15 minutes. So what I'm going to do is use a multiple where I put what I'm trying to cancel in the denominator and what I'm trying to end up with in the numerator. So I want the units minutes on the bottom and the units degrees on the top. Then we're just going to recognize our conversion factor. In 1 degree, there's 60 minutes. So notice here, if we were to cancel our units, the minutes would cancel, and we can see that we're going to end up with degrees as our units of measurements here. So we have 15 divided by 60, which gives us 0.25 degrees. So 15 minutes is 0.25 degrees. Now, if you think about time as measured on a clock, 15 time minutes is 1/4 of an hour. So we have 15 degree minutes, right? The angle measurement representing 1/4 of a degree. Now, let's convert the 30 seconds to degrees. So we have 30 seconds, and we want to convert that to degrees. So remember, we put the units that we want to cancel in the denominator, our goal units in the numerator, and then we fill in the conversion factor. In 1 degree, we know there's 3,600 minutes. So multiplying our fractions, we need to evaluate 30 divided by 3,600. Now, I do want to convert this to a decimal, so I'm going to go ahead and use my calculator. 30 divided by 3,600, and I will carry it, let's say, 3 decimal places, so 0.008 will be a good approximation. So this is 0.008 degrees. Therefore, we can say 22 degrees, 15 minutes, and 30 seconds is equivalent to 22 degrees plus 0.25 degrees plus 0.008 degrees. Adding those up would give us 22.258 degrees. So our original degree, minutes, and seconds measurement has now been converted to decimal degrees. Let's try example 9 going the other way. Now we're going to start out with decimal degrees, 35.135 degrees, and we want to convert this to the degree, minutes, seconds format. So I'm going to take the portion of a degree, 0.135 degrees, and convert this to minutes. Okay, so again, we're going to use a conversion factor. So I'm going to put the units that we're attempting to cancel in the denominator, that's degrees, and the units that we are attempting to convert to in the numerator. And then fill in the conversion factor. In 1 degree, there's 60 minutes. And again, you can imagine your units canceling. You can see our leftover units here will be minutes. So multiplying straight across, we have 0.135 times 60. And we end up with 8.1 minutes. So notice we have a fraction of a minute. We have 0.1 minutes. We want to go ahead and convert that to seconds. So we're going to take the 0.1 minute and we're going to convert it to seconds. So we want to end up with seconds. We're going to cancel the minutes in the denominator. Remember, in 1 minute, there are 60 seconds. So 0.1 times 60 gives us 6 seconds. So taking our whole numbers, we have 35.135 degrees. This is going to be equal to 35 whole degrees, 8 minutes. And remember, we converted the 0.1 minute into 6 seconds. So 35.135 degrees is the same thing as 35 degrees, 8 minutes, and 6 seconds. Now, the really good news I have for you is that your calculator can handle those conversions very efficiently. So let's go back to example 8. 22 degrees, 15 minutes, and 30 seconds. We want to convert that to decimal degrees. Now, to prepare your calculator to properly handle these conversions, you want to check your mode. So press your mode button, go down to the 4th line, and make sure that degrees is highlighted. Press enter on degrees. Later on, we will be using radian mode. For now, we want degrees. Now, I'm going to press my second button and go back to the home screen. So second, quit. Now I'm going to enter 22 degrees, 15 minutes, and 30 seconds. So I'm going to type in 22. Now I'm going to go to my angle menu. So I'm going to press the second button directly above that apps key. You can see the angle menu. In this angle menu, option number 1 is degrees. So we had 22 degrees, 15 minutes. So I'm going to type in 15. I'm going to go back to that angle menu. You can see that option number 2 picks up the minutes. And by the way, while we're here, notice that there are not seconds in this menu. We're just going to pick up degrees and number 2, minutes. Then to enter the 30 seconds, if you look over here to the right, above your plus button, you can see the seconds symbol. So to access that, we have to press our alpha key, then the plus button, and we have successfully typed 22 degrees, 15 minutes, and 30 seconds. Simply pressing enter will convert that to decimal degrees. 22.258 degrees matches the answer that we came up with as well. So that's great news. You can certainly verify that with your calculator. You can go the other way as well. In example 9, we have 35.135 degrees, and we want to convert that to the degrees, minutes, and seconds format. So 35.135. I'm going to enter that value. Remember, we are in degree mode, so your calculator is going to read that as degrees. I'm going to go back to the angle menu, second angle. Notice option number 4 there is DMS, or degrees, minutes, and seconds. So this signals to the calculator that the value I entered was in degrees, and it's going to convert it to the DMS format, 35 degrees, 8 minutes, and 6 seconds. So we did a great job. I do want to stress that that only works if you are in degree mode. If your calculator is in radian mode, you'll get some gibberish. Let's apply what we've learned to this last example. we want to find the missing angle. Recall from geometry that the sum of the three angles in a triangle is always 180 degrees. And notice right here we have notation for a right angle. So we know the measure of this angle is 90 degrees. So if we take 180 degrees and we subtract 90 degrees, then the result is 90 degrees. So we know the sum of these two angles must be 90 degrees. So to find the measure of angle alpha, we're going to take the remaining 90 degrees and we're going to subtract 61 degrees, 1 minute and 48 seconds. So I'm going to do this in a vertical setup to show you how to borrow degrees and borrow minutes. So I'm going to take 90 degrees and I want to subtract 61 degrees, 1 minute and 48 seconds. Well, that's inconvenient. I need minutes and seconds. So what I'm going to do is borrow 1 degree. So I'm going to rewrite that as 89 degrees. And when I borrow 1 degree, I'm going to recognize that's equivalent to 60 minutes. I'm going to do that same concept again. I'm going to borrow 1 minute, leaving 59 minutes behind, and convert that into 60 seconds. Then we can subtract. 60 minus 48 gives us 12 minutes. Seconds. 59 minus 1 gives us 58 minutes, and 89 minus 61 gives us 28 degrees. So 28 degrees, 58 minutes, and 12 seconds for the measure of angle alpha. Let's double check that with our calculator. So I'm going to enter the initial 90 degrees, and we're going to subtract 61 degrees. So remember, you can get your degree symbol from your second angle menu, option number 1. 61 degrees, 1 second angle. Pick up your minutes from that angle menu. To enter the 48 minutes, remember we're going to do alpha and plus. So we're going to end up with 28.97 decimal degrees, but I prefer to have that in the degrees, minutes, seconds format. So we're going to go back to our angle menu, second angle. We're going to choose option number 4, degrees, minutes, and seconds. And we have 28 degrees, 58 minutes, and 12 seconds. The same thing that we came up with. So altogether in this complete section, in the last 4 videos, we've learned about the basic anatomy of an angle. We learned about some common angles that we need to be familiar with. We learned about coterminal angles and the degrees, minutes, seconds format for measuring angles. You've completed your first section of notes and lecture videos. You are ready to begin your first section of homework.